Welcome to What If It All Goes Right, the podcast where we flip the script on obstacles and turn them into opportunities. I'm Angela Gargano, 6-time American Ninja Warrior, Miss Fitness America, keynote speaker, and someone who knows firsthand what it's like to face setbacks and wonder, is this for me? I've torn my ACL on national television, worked the 12-hour overnight shifts as a biochemist, and battled my own doubts about how to chase my goals while juggling life's chaos. But through it all, I've learned one powerful truth. It's not about avoiding challenges. It's about how you view them. The difference between success and staying stuck, it's all in your mindset and what you do next. This podcast is here to remind you that every single person you admire has faced obstacles. The real magic happens when you decide to see those hardships as stepping stones to something greater. Each week, we'll dive into powerful stories and practical tools and mindset shifts to help you take control of your life and ask the big question, what if it all goes right? You'll leave each episode empowered, inspired, and equipped with the actionable steps to create the life you've been dreaming of. Because the truth is, you're stronger than you think, and your obstacles are just opportunities in disguise. Let's rewrite your story together. Get ready to feel inspired, take action, and see what happens when you start asking, what if it all goes right? Hey team, and welcome to another episode of What If It All Goes Right. I got super inspired here as I am in Nashville. I'm near Nashville for a very exciting speakers boot camp. I told myself for years that I wanted to be a speaker, but I kept always kind of pushing that on the back burner. I don't really know why. Maybe it was a lack of confidence, a lack of sureness if I'd actually be able to succeed in that industry. And so I decided that I'm going to go to this boot camp and I'm going to make it happen. I finally got a little glimpse of courage and signed up for it, and now I'm here. So I came a day or two early, just to see Nashville, walk around a little bit. But it's interesting. I'm finding myself very, very productive in my hotel room instead, which is, I think, fine. So I'm getting a lot of stuff done. So this way I can be fully present for the boot camp, and I cannot wait to do a podcast after. But I did a breathwork session and I got super inspired on a couple different topics, and I knew I had to hop on here to talk about it and to tell all you guys about it. So one of the things that I've personally been navigating has been an in-between moment. And we talked about this in other past podcasts about when one door closes, another one opens, but no one talks about that hallway in the between. And I was sitting there after my breathwork section, realizing that I myself am in an in-between right now. And I think I've been not fully candidly sharing this on social media any type of way, but I think it's because I really didn't fully know that that's where I was in this in-between moment. But I've definitely been here for the past, I want to say, 2 years or so, this in-between moment. So I'm going to talk all about the in-between that I'm currently stuck in and some realizations that I'm having that might be able to help you with any in-betweens that you might be happening right now. Because these in-between moments can be kind of annoying. Things can feel a little bit foggy. You can be feeling like you're maybe not as productive. You don't exactly know where you want to go. And understanding that this hallway is a part of the journey and that it's okay where you're at. You don't have to be at that finish line. You don't have to see the light. But this is where truly the magic happens. And the reason I wanted to make this podcast now is because when you're in the in-between, you don't fully think the magic is happening here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't think that things are actually going to be going your way and that things are actually happening for you, and all the lessons you're learning in this hallway are so important. But it's almost like I'm kind of starting to come out of the fog of the in-between a little bit so I can start to see it. And so I want to share this journey with you so that hopefully this will help you in your in-between moments, whatever that might be for you. And of course, with What If It All Goes Right, I love giving action steps and something that you can do today to take action to help you with that in-between moment that you're in right now. Now, this is completely unscripted. A lot of times I pre-write out my podcasts so that I know exactly where I'm going with it. So I'm not honestly sure where this one's going to go. So if you're ready to go on the ride with me, let's hop in and dive into the hallway in between. So on my page, not too long ago, I shared that I will be retiring from American Ninja Warrior. So that means that I had done 6 seasons. And after 6 seasons, I decided that it was time. It was time to take a break from it. And I actually did the same exact thing in my past 2 athletic careers. So as a college gymnast, I mean, after I tore my ACL and graduated college, I didn't stay back for that extra year that I had to finish it because I knew that it was time. It was time to be done. You know, when you just have that feeling that I'm ready for whatever that next thing is. Then when it came to fitness competitions, which I used to compete all over the world, which, man, I was thinking back on the time I had with fitness competitions and how special it was, the amazing women that I met, how humbled I was with how hard I had to work in order to get on the top level with those pros. And the fitness competitions that I did were the ones where you were flipping around the stage and you're doing all this crazy stuff and you had to learn this routine. So you're practicing your routine. You're also working out daily, taking care of your body. And through that journey, I learned so much about how to be confident, how to stand tall on stage in a bikini in like insanely clear stripper shoe heels. But I got to a point also where I remember before the last competition I did, I was backstage, and I actually think of this moment all the time because sometimes what I like to do is reflect on moments where I felt the most powerful so that I can go back to it and I can think about the times that I felt most powerful and so sure in my life. And that was one of the moments. I remember being backstage right before I was about to compete. I knew that I had put all the work in for this competition to finally become Miss Fitness America, to finally win. And I just remember taking a big deep breath, inhaling, exhaling, looking up at the sky, and just being so proud of myself in that moment. And I think that that moment that I took to reflect right before that I knew that I was going to be retiring from these competitions was the most special moment. And I'm so happy I did take that second to reflect instead of just kind of diving in and going right into it and just kind of not thinking about what I'd done and what I accomplished. I took that moment, I took it inhale, and I said, Angela, I'm so proud of you. It doesn't really matter what happens now. You put in so much work. You kept going when things got hard. I had competitions where I'd broken my foot, where things got crazy. There were so many things that happened during these moments. I'd gone through a breakup from my college boyfriend who I thought that I was going to literally live with forever and be with forever. So there's so much that happened, and I grew so much during that time. So it was super special. So I want to share this moment right beforehand because I actually have been using that moment to go back to those feelings of what it felt like to do something so awesome and to push past such hard things. And it's important to have the feeling, not just the moment and the visual of the moment, but the feeling of that moment so that you can bring that back into other areas of your life when you're stuck in something like this in between. So I remember getting up on that stage, and I should post this video again. I mean, that was my favorite routine. I love that jungle routine so much. Getting up on stage, nailing it, coming off, taking a deep breath, going out and changing into my bikini so that I could walk out in my heels and do my little posing situation. And when they called my name that I won Miss Fitness America on stage, I didn't expect this because I don't feel like I'm much of like a public crier. Cried my eyes out. Cried my eyes out because I couldn't believe that all this time. But I also think I knew that I was retiring. Like this was it for me. This was like closing that chapter. It was closing that door, not knowing what door was opening on the other side. So there I was right after that in the in between. Like, what now? What do I do? But what's fortunate about this in between that I had was that I had something lined up already, right? I had gotten those calls for American Ninja Warrior. So I had already, I believe, competed once. I think I already competed once. So I was already on this trend of cool. The next thing I'm doing, the next community I'm being a part of is this American Ninja Warrior community. So it's almost like the in-between pain wasn't as hard because I had that next thing that I was jumping into. I didn't have a crazy amount of time to just sit with nothing, with nothing to do, with no idea what I was going to be doing. So yeah, I jumped right into American Ninja Warrior. After that was with an amazing community there. And when I say it was epic to be a part of this community, these, women, men, children, people of all ages together who were so obsessed with getting past these courses. We were competing in ninja competitions all over the world, not just the American Ninja Warrior, the TV show, but we were competing like in the local gyms. We were piling up in a car since we all had like barely any money. We would pile up in a car and we would drive to these different competitions overnight. quickly. And we just had the most amazing time. And I met such incredible people that I feel like I will have lifelong stories and friends with. And it was so special. And was also really wild because we would drive all these hours to these competitions and we might fall on the first obstacle because some of these competitions were just so hard. They were just so hard. I feel like I know when things like really shifted for me with a Ninja Warrior, and I kind of knew that maybe it was almost time to do the like whatever the next thing is, and I wasn't really feeling as passionately as I used to about it, which was unfortunate because again, I sometimes I want things to be a forever thing. Some things aren't forever, and that's literally okay. It's okay to not have something be forever. I went and competed in Baltimore, and that was season 9. I want to say that was season 9. Maybe it was season 10. Okay. I can't remember the seasons right now. I don't know. I'm blanking, probably because of my travels. So I competed in Baltimore. This time I felt, again, the strongest, most confident version of myself. I had been rejected from Ninja Warrior two or 3 years, like in a row before that. Like I didn't have an interesting enough story to actually get on the TV show, which is something that's really, really important. And something I really learned from American Ninja Warrior, so thanks to American Ninja Warrior, was storytelling, was being able to tell a really good story. Because in order to get on a TV show, not only did you have to be fit, you had to have some type of story. I saw some of the most incredible men and women at these ninja competitions, and they didn't get on the show. And it was because they just didn't have an interesting enough story. And they probably would have crushed the course like 10 times more than I would have. So I really was able to learn the storytelling, which I'm now able to use so much of what I learned from that in my now speaking career, in my now marketing of my programs. So really get the feeling and share a story. So I didn't really have that interesting of a story in between the fitness competitions. I was pretty much just working at the gymnastics gym. I didn't own my gym just yet. It took me a little while to own the gym. I went from being a biochemist to then opening my gym, everything. So I finally had a story, and I really made sure in this submission video that I put those key points together. In the key points, I had, okay, I'm so excited. My name is Angela, and this has been one of the best years of my life. I showed them a picture of my vision board, which I'm still doing now. It was a vision board of me photoshopped the cover of a magazine, of me owning a gym, of me having a boyfriend, and I think there was Powerball in there, but I never got the Powerball. So I shared this story, and I shared that I gotten all those things. But now the next thing on my list that I wanted was to be on American Ninja Warrior. And I just compiled this list so great because I'd opened the gym. I'd done all the things that I was looking to do. I think at that point I'd also, I won Miss Fitness America. I also had gotten on the cover of Women's Health magazine somehow randomly because someone told me to put in a video for this competition they were having called Women's Health Next Fitness Star. And didn't think I was going to get it. I'm like some girl from Rhode Island that I'm like, you're not going to pick me. But I did get picked. So anyways, going off track a little bit on that situation, but I got onto American Ninja Warrior finally, but this time I was ready because I'd been, working really hard, all those different things, get on the show, rush through the course. I mean, there was so many ninjas that I looked up to who were telling me, wow, like you're like, oh, this is awesome. Like I just remember watching you soar and be like, she's the next top female. And all the hard work I put in and the confidence I had, because I just thrive when I'm like on stage and I'm moving, I'm competing. Tear my ACL, obviously. We know that story. You can reflect back in other episodes that I've had before. And then had this major like turn of events, right, where I was feeling awful. That was definitely an in-between moment. Didn't know what I was going to do. But I did have a little peek to the other side, because the other side was, I'm coming back. I'm going to come back and I'm going to crush this course. So closed down my gym, moved to New York City. All these things started happening. There was definitely like a little peak of light and excitement through that, and was able to come back the next year and totally crush the course. But I feel like a lot of athletes, I mean, they don't really tell you about once you do have that like peak moment, that like awesome moment. It's kind of like, what's next now? What's next? It's obviously enjoying the process. It's sitting right before that I competed again to come back on the course, and I had a major comeback, and I had the same moment that I had when I was on stage in Miss Fitness America, where I knew I was like, I'm going to do this. Like, I worked so hard. I'm so proud of myself. I don't care what happens. Like, I made it. I totally made it here, and I'm so excited. But again, in my in-between moment from Fitness America, from gymnastics to Fitness America, I had Fitness America to look forward to, right? From Fitness America, I had Ninja Warrior to look up to. But now that I've retired from American Ninja Warrior, and I knew that this just wasn't the thing for me. I couldn't find a community here in Texas that I really wanted to train with. The timings are just off. I'm just older. I don't feel like training at like midnight anymore like I used to. But now I don't really have that light. And this is where it gets tough. And I was sitting here reflecting and thinking when I was doing the breath work today, why I feel so stuck right now. I don't feel like I'm moving the needles that I really want to move, even though I have succeeded so much in between that time, right? And it's because I don't see that next thing. And it's wondering, how do you keep persisting when you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel at all? Like not even a peep. Like you really don't actually know what this thing is. What is that next thing? How can you be happy right here, even in the moment where you don't have another thing lined up, right? And athletically, I love working out and getting movement in, but I haven't felt that inspired to move, because being inspired to move to me was training for a competition, right? And I do love all sorts of different movements. So I've almost been feeling a little like, I've been calling it my soft girl era, feeling a little soft because I haven't felt like going extreme or going crazy. I found an amazing community here in Austin who works out and goes really hard, but I'm not feeling that stage of my life right now. And I have to sit here and understand that that is okay. And that is also okay for you too. So the question is, again, how do we keep moving forward when we don't really see a light in that hallway? It's very, very foggy. You're a little unsure. You have no idea what that next thing is. All these other areas of my life, I always had that one thing to focus on, and that's what I was working towards, right? I was going to work towards that one thing, and I was going to get there. It wasn't a matter of if I was going to get there. It was a matter of when I was going to get there. But now I'm unsure. Where is that next thing for me? What is it? I feel like I finally have found it now with speaking, and where I want to go with that. But I haven't really fully defined where it is that I want to go with that. But what I want to do differently in this hallway is I want to use this as motivation. I want to use this end piece as motivation, and this is where I want to go. But I don't want it to be the only thing that I'm focused on. I really want to focus on celebrating this in-between moment, being present with the people that I care about, I love, all those things, and all those other areas and all those other times. There was amazing times that I've had, but it was so hyper-focused on my one thing that I maybe neglected friendships, family, all that type of stuff. It was hard to do anything else but that one thing. So I'm curious as to how this time I can do it differently. And again, I want to share with you to be vulnerable, to be open, because I think sometimes people look at my journey and it's like, oh, she just did it. She just had it all. She doesn't maybe go through things, and maybe I don't post it as much because Instagram is always a highlight reel no matter what. So I want to go into this with you. So the first thing that I thought about was bridging the gap between where I'm at now, which is going from being a major athlete, still loving movement, but realizing that the movement doesn't have to turn into a huge competition, which has been, and I can still get that movement in, still enjoy that movement in. And bridging the gap between athlete and now business owner, boss ass bitch. But really, bridging the gap. That's where I'm working towards now. I've been building this business, which honestly feels 10 times harder than building my fitness career. I have to tell you guys, like the business and being an entrepreneur is not for the faint of heart. It is going to knock you down multiple times. I mean, so did fitness, but like I feel like it's a different vibe. So bridging the gap right now between being the athlete and being the business owner, and what that looks like. Where is the light? What little peeps of life do I want to look at for this business owner? And how can I celebrate and be happy with where I am right now and really create this this lifestyle where I'm showing up daily as the most true, authentic, raw, present version of myself. So business-wise, and I'm working on I already have my vision board actually done, but there's so many different pieces I wanted to dive into this year, because I feel like last year, the vision board I created, I definitely didn't feel it. You know, when you just like didn't feel it? I'm like, I don't know, like this vision board, like I'm feeling some of this up on here, but I'm not like, yeah, like there's something that was a little bit off. This one, I'm definitely feeling a lot more now, but now I want to get very, very clear on the steps. Because like I said, for Ninja Warrior, it was like, cool, I'm training for Ninja Warrior. I'm going to show up to the gym this many times a day. I'm going to work really hard on that. I'm going to make my submission video. Like I had those little peeps of things like lined up. Whereas a lot of the business stuff, I kind of had it vaguely lined up, but I don't really know. Like I don't really fully know like what it looks like next. So business stuff, I want to get super hyper focused and hyper clear on those things. So I know each thing that I can do each day in order to move the needle and keep things going and celebrate any little micro win that I might have with it, even if it doesn't feel like it, because the business stuff doesn't happen overnight. Any business owner will tell you that. Like if you think that you are in one launch gonna make what you want to make and it's going to be a certain way, it's probably not. You're probably gonna have a couple, or if not hundreds of, not failed, but launches that don't go particularly your way, and you have to keep piling and pushing through it, right? So I want to pick those little things that I can do for each category and really stay focused on getting those done, especially too with the personal stuff. Like I'm going to do movement, and the movement doesn't have to be a competition or anything crazy. It just has to be movement that feels really good and really, really exciting for me, and which is exactly why I created our other program, Strong Feels Good. So we have a Pull-Up Revolution, which I love because it's very skill-based. It's very much like when you do American Ninja Warrior, you're like, I'm going to be working towards a goal of getting on American Ninja Warrior and finishing this course. And what's great about Pull-Up Revolution is I'm going to go in here and in 12 weeks, I'm going to get my pull-up, right? Which is great. Like a nice singular goal that you have to push on. Strong Feels Good. I remember creating that because the in-between moments from being the athlete and the business owner, I wasn't really excited and I needed something to keep me on track. And I'm going to talk about this in my next iteration of this podcast. It helped me stay consistent because I created something called a strength test, where we have like little checkpoints where we can measure our strength and how much stronger we're getting by staying consistent with it. So again, we'll talk about that in another podcast. And I think it really makes my program stand out from a lot of other people's. So I really want to figure out what those little key point things are. I also want to declutter. I actually saw this quote. I'm going to pull it up here. I want to declutter. I want to detach. I want to delete anything that devalues your life and don't bring it into 2025. So I want to like really declutter all my notes that I have everywhere, all my we have a software we use called ClickUp, where my assistant probably gets so mad at me because I haven't been using it. I want to get rid of all the stuff in there that I haven't been checking off and get real organized and crystal clear with that. So this way I can at least see the path a little bit more clearly instead of going through this hallway right now and feeling pretty messy about it. Like I kind of I want some kind of idea of where I'm going with the business, and I need to get very, very hyper focused and clear on those steps. And the same thing with my physical health and my love life, everything. I want to get very, very clear on those things so that I can show up each day. Because if you don't have those things and you don't have it lined up like that, you're going to feel foggy, and that's going to really make you not present. And that's my biggest annoyance of this hallway right now, because things are so messy in my brain and all the tabs are open and I'm not really sure what exactly like specific things that I'm focusing on. I feel like I can't be present because the tabs are on all the time. So I just can't be in one singular moment, which is a problem, right? So I definitely want to declutter. And I think that's going to be really important with these in-betweens for the business. I mean, what's tough about the business is I saw the business a certain way a couple of years ago. I saw the business as this huge community and revolution that was like wild. Like I was like, we are going to blow this up. We're going to get like thousands of people. It's going to be a revolution. And we do have a lot of people, but it definitely wasn't to the caliber or extent of the amount of people that I thought. But what I realized is that that's actually okay because I'd rather have less people, more high quality people who are in there and ready to work so I can really give them a true transformation. And when you get to that level, thousands of people, it's a new levels, new devils. There's new things that wind up coming up. So I'd actually really am liking that the way we're shifting our business is more catered towards having a select number of people where we could really hyper focus on them and really get them a result instead of as many people as possible, right? Because I feel like we get them a better result. And I feel like the women who come into the program who invest in themselves and do pay for the program, they get a better result. The women who were getting the free stuff either don't do it or something happens, right? When you invest in yourself, you're investing your time, you're investing your money, you're going to show up and you're going to put in the work and you're going to see the results. So I think I've shifted my mindset on that with the business, which was really tough because I just had a picture of what I thought it was going to be. And then it like literally wasn't that at all. But I also saw another quote. It said, Lamborghini started out as a tractor company. Samsung started up as a grocery store. LG started as a facial cream. Nintendo started by making playing card. And IKEA started as a pen. Nobody knows what the F they're doing when they start or where the hell they're going. The most successful people just keep trying shit and they never stop. So just start. You'll figure out the rest later. So I do have to say, I'm really good at just starting. I'm good at starting. Sometimes I'm not really for sure where it's going to go either. So the evolution of that definitely made me feel a lot better by looking at that. And again, same with you too. If anything, I think most people, the issue is they don't start really at all. They're so fearful of starting any kind of thing, whether it be with their fitness journey or their business or anything along those lines. They just don't start at all. I am definitely the master of starting and just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks and what works, and then trying to make it better and working my hardest to make it the best that I can. Back to navigating this hallway in between, because we tangent off a little bit. Let me know how you all like my tangent, just a random off the cuff episode here. I'm not sure if people like that or not. I don't love to just only talk about myself. I want to make sure we have like actionable steps that can help you like while I'm stuck in this in between moment. So the business this year and bridging the gap. So athlete to business, I keep seeing myself on stage and it makes sense. And I saw this in my human design chart too. So that you hit a point where like you're doing all the things. Like I've been doing all the things, right? And now it's my time to get on stage and share all the things and help all the humans that I possibly can. And I keep seeing myself on those stages. And when I get up there, it feels like home. And I thought that everyone felt that way. I went to a little group and I was like, everyone probably feels like they want to be on stage, right? And there was people who were like, oh no, like that's not what I want to do. I feel like I was born to be on that stage. And when your internal instinct is telling you that you're meant to do something and you're seeing it in your head, there's a reason. It means that you're meant to do it. It means that you're going to do it, right? And the stage is different from the gymnastics stage. It's different from the stage that I was on with Fitness America. It's different from the stage that I was on with Ninja Warrior. This is now sharing all of that and helping those navigate what we're navigating now, which is the hallway, right? Which is navigating the challenges that are coming up. How do you push past those challenges? And how can you embrace pushing those challenges when the hallway is where I'm at right now, which is I don't fully see a light on the other side. I don't really know. How can we celebrate that and enjoy this moment right now and know that it's okay? It's okay to have seasons where you are full blown, balls to the wall on a certain task or goal. And there's also great seasons where you can literally just be with nothing that you are trying to fully achieve. All these moments are valid and all these valid moments are important. One of my favorite speakers, authors, podcasters, Lori Harder, who I actually was able to meet, and I just adore her. I feel like I very much have gone on similar journeys from her, which she's did Fitness America competitions, did the whole fitness thing online, and then transitioned out of the fitness stuff online into this amazing speaker and this powerhouse woman, earn your happy, just amazing woman. And I feel like I'm definitely following towards that air, like that same footsteps that she's in right now, except I still have my fitness business as well. And they talked about different seasons that you might be in. So in the hallway, there's going to be different seasons. It's like almost like a split up, right? You're in this, like, the window closes, you're in this dark ass hallway. And now in the hallway, we got seasons. I just picture myself like going down this hallway and like it raining on me, and then it like snowing, and then it's like sunny. But what's important about all those seasons is that you need those seasons to do the next great thing. And it's not always going to be summer all the time. So she had talked about how she was in a winter season for a very, very long time, and how winter is so important because think about all the trees and the animals. That's the time where they're sleeping and they're hibernating. The trees shut off all their leaves and they're just resting and they're chilling. So they can prepare and get nourished, ready to blossom in the spring and then shine in the summer. And it's the same thing with us in this hallway in between. We need to embrace that downtime and rest time. And as I'm saying this, I'm like, all right, girl, don't be so hard on yourself. You just gotta, it's okay if you're just chilling a little more than normal. We're going to do an episode on a pep talk too, because pep talks are really important sometimes. Sometimes you need a pep talk, you know what I'm saying? I guess the conclusion with navigating this hallway in between and this in between athlete, business owner, is to identify where you're at right now in that hallway, knowing that it's okay. Knowing that it's okay if it's not perfect. And I mean, really sitting down and figuring out, zooming out and seeing if you have the space right now in your brain to understand where it is that you would like to go, knowing that it may not be exactly where you end up. So this way you can take small little steps each day to get towards some kind of light. And in order to see some kind of light, it might mean you chilling out for a second, taking a step back, zooming out instead of being in, getting out of it. Because when you're in it, it's hard to figure out anything. it's hard to see what that next version of yourself might be or where that next light might be. But these moments are so important, and they're not talked about enough. You just see the shiny stuff all the time. You don't see the in-between moments like this. And I personally have been nervous that I'm going to be stuck in this hallway forever, and it's kind of a little scary. I'm like, I'm not going to be stuck in here forever. But I think some of the seasons and some dark hallways, it lasts a little bit longer than others, but it's always exactly what you need. Action steps for today's episode. And again, thanks. Let me know if you like this style of just me rambling, because I'm not really sure. I was trying to be very structured with this podcast, but I felt inspired. When I feel inspired, I'm like, let me just go. Let me just do this. So sit down, take a deep breath, figure out where you're at in your seasons. You might be on the other side right now. You might be like in the light, shining, doing your thing. You might be in the darkness right now. I'm really not sure where it is that you want to go. Take a moment, chill, reflect. I do have that vision board workshop that you can grab where I go through everything, and I'm literally making it as we're going through this, so you're going to be able to get a lot out of it, so we can literally do this together. But I've been making vision boards and things along those lines for years now, and it's really significantly changed my life. So I'm going to take you step by step through everything that you can do. Write out where you're at now. Where is it you think you want to go? Maybe some feelings that you're right now that you might be embracing during this hallway, and maybe write some reasons why this hallway is good for you. Like, why is this hallway actually very beneficial and exactly what you need right now? And let's start to think about some little action steps so that we can get ourselves out of it. In the next episode, I'm going to talk about checkpoints and why they're super important. I mean, checkpoints we do in my pull-up program and my Strong Feels Good program are so important, because sometimes it's really hard to see if you're seeing any progress or if life is actually going in the right direction when we don't have those like things. It's kind of like business with KPIs. I hate KPIs, but I love them because honestly, you know if you're actually getting in the right direction. Anyways, this is going a different direction. All right, see you in the next episode, and thanks for listening.